Warning: the following live video is unscripted, unrehearsed, and presented in a raw format. Inappropriate language, suggestive humor, alcohol and tobacco use may be present at any time. ESV takes a unique and raw approach to the topics we discuss. Often we inject bits of humor in order to lighten the mood. Though we may laugh at times that may seem inappropriate to many professionals and counselors, we are not either. We are real people leading real lives, talking about real situations and experiences. None of the advice or experiences given are to be assumed to work for you the same as any one of us. We are not a hotline. We are an avenue of discovery and enlightenment.
We've got to work together.
Good evening and welcome to ESV Ear, Shoulder, Voice. As you know, my name is Keith Litfin. Just tell you quick, I was born several years ago. I'm not going to count how many. When I was born, I had to have a major surgery. Most doctors didn't think I was going to live to see the age of 13, or I'd be mentally retarded. They may be right on that one. I'm not sure. As we went forward, when I was 19, I was engaged. My fiance was killed by a drunk driver. When I was 21, I was accused of embezzlement from one of the stores I worked for. One time, a karaoke host was sick, and I filled in for him. And it became a career. It changed my life forever. Gone was my dreams of teaching and owning a restaurant. All these things may seem tragic at some points and may seem to have improved my life, but one thing for sure, they impacted it big. Everything changed for me. It's an ever-changing life. Things are always going to happen to you that you don't always understand if it's supposed to be good, if it's supposed to be bad, but you can get through it. You can deal with it. Never think that everything is going to be destroyed because of one single event. Manage it. You've got a long life ahead of you to live happily. Don't forget while you're watching this to like, follow, share, and subscribe to Ear, Shoulder, Voice on YouTube and Facebook. When you do that, you'll get notified of all our live shows, and you'll be engage us in all our topics, chat through text, and even be a guest panel member if you wish to be. You can suggest new topics for our next show, or you can just enjoy the conversation with our friends. Speaking of our friends, let's bring in another co-founder of ESV here, Linny Hake. Linny, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Keith?
I'm doing good. I know you're dealing with a little bit of internet connection issues right now, but don't worry. We see you. We're going to work with you.
All right. Well, just our topic tonight, talking about how life has changed a little bit. When I was little, I think I was 5 years old, my sister was in a car accident, and she was my best friend in the world. She taught me how to ride horses, and as time went on, I taught her how to ride horses after her car accident, and that ultimately became my job. And then I lived this magical life in the whole show jumping world, and taking care of my own children. Then I had kids, and I have now two autistic kids. That changed my life. And now my mom and sister are living with me, and now that's changing my life. So we have a whole lot of little things to talk about outside of that too, but we'll sprinkle that in as we get to hear everybody else's story as well. So
We definitely will get to all of that because not everything's going to be negative. I mean,
No,
it's all
no.
about life changes. Sometimes it's marriage. It can be divorce,
Right.
having a child. It could be anything. We're going to bring in right now our third shoulder this evening. Brandon Ponke, how you doing?
Great. How you guys doing?
Hi, Brandon.
Absolutely amazing. So, Brandon, any life-changing events? I mean, you actually had really shown interest in this topic, and I'm curious, was there anything particular you're going through that made you want to pick this?
Well, first of all, the fact that yeah,
Art and more art. I see. We hit it at first. That's not what we meant, but it's something.
I fixed my problems. All right. So, yeah, no. When the reason it popped up in my head as a idea was we were planning on doing a different topic. Something came up, and then I was like, well, it's hard to deal with change. Maybe if we can jump onto this topic, this will be how we deal with stuff. Yeah, growing up, I mean, there was plenty of changes, and some of them you don't realize they're for the good till later. Plenty of dark stuff, lost of loved ones, and DUI and stuff like that. But it also, all those little changes, as long as you keep moving forward, that's like the key. Because I ended up in like a better position as far as a career and a better relationship. I got to meet people that changed my life. Like every change, if you just keep moving forward, there's going to be dark, there's going to be great, as long as you keep rolling.
Well, there's a big change right now in those walls, and I really approve of it.
I know.
I like
Step
the
at a
walls. They're
It's
so
so
much
bright.
nicer now.
This one's actually a
So cheery.
Picasso. And,
Yeah.
this one was by my niece, Noelle. And some people prefer Noelle's, so
Can you
can tell
can you
she's got
give me
talent.
can you give me Noelle's phone number and I can ask her to maybe do another one and add some color?
Yeah, it'll
Maybe
cost
do it in
Hey,
red.
it's Lenny. Don't get greedy. It's a start.
it'll cost you, but she's talented.
Mm-hmm.
We got it.
All right, you did bring up a good point. Originally, our topic was going to be disorders in the family, which was dealing with family members who have disorders. One of our viewers, unfortunately, who suggested the topic, could not make it because of scheduling conflict. That show has been moved to next Wednesday on the 30th, so we will still have that. Coming in right now, I want to bring in our fourth shoulder this evening, Nikki Colley. How you
Hi,
doing,
everybody.
Nikki?
I'm good. I'm
Nick.
good. Hi, guys.
So
How are
you
you?
have a lot to share on this topic, don't you?
Oh my God, my life is ever changing. I mean, I could probably be a whole show in myself, but I mean, from new relationships to children to careers to school to life, life changes on a like an evolving pattern, it seems. Some good, some bad, some, in between, but I've taken some good lessons from everything, and I think it'll be, something good to talk about tonight.
Well, we're going to be doing a lot of talking tonight, that's for sure, because we've all been through so many changes in our life right now. So we're going to get started with this, and I'm going to start actually with you, Brandon, because you brought it up. What is the biggest change you've actually been through recently?
Recently, it was finding out that my dad's cancer has metastasized, so things are getting pretty dark. That's one that's probably not going to be easy to just keep moving forward, but I've been through tragedy in my life, and I think maybe all that tragedy might have helped me make sure that instead of just going, oh no, the world's falling apart, and instead be more just, I'm going to be there to support him and help him out and just, enjoy time together and just deal with this the best that we can, because that's what dealing with change is all about.
I mean, when the world's falling apart, as hard as it is to do, sometimes you just got to get out that duct tape. Because the world's going to continue. No, I mean,
Handyman's
it
secret
is.
weapon.
It is. Well, yeah, that's that
the
and electrical
red-green
tape.
joke.
Electrical tape, too. But it will, because it can all be repaired. Some things won't. It can't be repaired as far as certain events will always happen in everybody's lives. There's things we can't do about that. But there's always a way. Your life is not broken from that point forward. And that's one of the things a lot of people have a really hard time seeing, especially in the moment. I've lost several people in my life. I have my brother who's been on here. Other than that, I don't really have any surviving immediate family around me at all. I've lost a lot of them. And I felt that way when that stuff had happened. My grandmother was cancer, but she was actually the last one to pass away. The rest of my family passed before she did, which was really hard.
So what did you do to get through kind of that struggling time?
I cried like a little bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I did. I took time. That one was not as hard. I'm going to go into more detail on that one later, on why that wasn't as difficult for me. But the taking care of her, that was a change in my life. And I thought I wasn't going to get back to normal. And I'll go into detail how it was positive in a minute. Lenny, what about you? I know you're going through a really big life change right now, or change in your life with your mother and your sister.
Right. Well, COVID.
How are you dealing?
I'm doing okay. As long as I talk to people, I'm doing okay. So what I'm going through right now is my mom and my sister moved in with me when they sold their home, which was right when the lockdown of COVID. And my sister is in a wheelchair, and my mom is almost to a wheelchair. She has a lot of ailments that are difficult to walk. Well, she just wound up in the hospital for a spinal infection, and we had to decide whether or not to do surgery because she could be paralyzed from it and blah, 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 all that stuff. Well, now she did the surgery, everything came out really well, but now she's having just a terrible, terrible time with all the meds and allergies to meds and things like that, and trying to decide whether or not she's going to come back here and I take care of her or go into a nursing home that may be COVID problematic, or isolation. She's really having a really hard time with it. And it's hard. It's just hard because only one person can go in the hospital at a day, so you can't rotate it. And I have a handicapped sister here to take care of and autistic boys to take care of. And thank God I have the most wonderful man in the world in my life who is struggling with cancer as well, taking care of them while I go try to take care of my mom. So it's just this change. But I will say this, it's like, just like Brandon and both of you said, the more that you can get through things, it's, life is going to go on. It's going to get better if you can just stick with it, and have your support group helping you out when you need to someone to kind of lean on or talk to. So thank you guys, because I have called Keith. I was in need of just kind of chit-chatting this morning on my way to go see her because she was not doing well.
That's what we're here for, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's here for. Everybody on this channel right now is here for that. Everybody who joins, comments, it's to be around a group of friends.
Yeah,
and
right.
we never know what people are going through. Nikki,
Yeah.
what about you?
Like I said, I've been through tons of change, but one important thing that I think it's really important to say about how we get through change is I try to embrace the change and not panic when the change happens, because I know that it's either going to help me grow, it's going to bring me knowledge, or it's going to prepare me for something later that I need to be strong enough to mentally deal with. And so, that's how I tend to deal with change, because there used to be a point where I would panic. I would ball up in a corner and, not know how to handle it. And as I've aged, I've learned the better ways. For me personally, I think it's actually great tips for everybody. I think it's important to embrace change. Change.
Oh, it
is
absolutely
part of
is. If you don't embrace it, you cannot move past it. You cannot move with it. You cannot do anything with it. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel brought down. You're going to feel that there's nothing you can do, and you're trapped.
Right.
Embracing is important.
That's definitely one of those things. Is like, as you I don't know, maybe weather all those storms, you actually learn that not only that you had maybe certain ways of dealing with it or reactions to it. Like I always had just the anger and just like punch walls and break stuff. And
That's an outlet for a lot of people.
Yeah,
It was for me too.
Man, Kevin made me mad at work and I broke a Sharpie yesterday.
Well, that's a Sharpie. Sharpies are expensive, man.
It was a jumbo one too.
That's not
That's
cool. That's not cool at all.
Oh, jumbo Sharpie.
Jumbo one. Oh,
We got a
so
special
much-
guest, another shoulder joining us right now. Becky, how you doing tonight?
I'm
Hi,
doing
Becky.
okay. Hello
So am
there.
I. You look comfortable. You look casual. I like that.
Yeah, I'm doing my thing.
That's how we like to do it. That's how we feel it. So, Becky,
Cheers.
what big major life events, or even one of them right now, you think really altered and turned your life in any particular direction?
That's
I
a
know
loaded
there's so many.
question.
I know.
There's so
If you
many.
had to pick the biggest one,
Or even the most recent.
well, most recent works too.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go with my biggest life event.
Right.
So, because I don't really want to talk about my most recent, but my biggest life event was marrying my husband, Tom. I went through so much shit, so much, and it was so hard. And then to get to the point where I was respected and appreciated. Yeah. That's
Well, you know what? The marriage is a good thing because you can, I'm sorry, it was a comment. I'll show it in a second. But the marriage is a good thing. It's a light at the end of the tunnel, kind of. It's something you see. But sometimes marriages struggle just the same too, and you get the same feeling of being trapped
Well, you know that
in it.
we've had troubles. You know that, but
Yes.
we have fought, and it was meant to be because we're still
But,
here.
but let me ask you, Becky. During those troubles, did you ever think it was going to be like it is now? And
No.
did you have your moments of doubt? Exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. They fail to be able to see in the future in that moment.
Yep.
How did you hang on, Becky? Like during those troubles, if you did not see this being the outcome, what was your go-to?
You know what? I don't know. It's so hard to say, but I loved him, and I loved the life that we had thought about, which is important no matter what. Like you have a life plan, and I think that as long as you have that life plan, it can happen. And you may have to go through really hard times to get there, but you can get
We,
there.
but it's not over. Hard.
So,
You know what's
No.
weird? Go ahead, Lenny.
well, Becky, I find it interesting that you said I don't know, but then you right after that you said you loved him or you love him. So that's it right there. That's what kind of bonded the whole thing, and then you find a way to make things better and work. I mean, love is it's pretty strong something in your life.
When you're going through this, a lot of
Very.
times, it seems like it lasts forever. But when you look back, it was a very small portion of your life.
Yeah, and
Now,
it sounds cliche to just be like, the secret to life is just to keep moving forward, right? But I think that's kind of what it is. Like when Becky was saying, like, I'm not really sure what it was that got me through it. It might just be that you just kept moving forward, and there's things in this life that you can't control. The only thing you can really control is trying to keep moving and trying to adjust and trying to make as many right moves as you can, and eventually things just kind of could fall into place.
life's
But
not going to stop.
let me add a little something to that, Brandon, and tell me if this is how you guys feel. So I'm fine with bring it on conflict. I'm fine with tragic things, everything. What I'm not fine with is when I can't control something, that I have to rely on say doctors or nurses or somebody else's schedule or whatever it may be. That's harder for me because I can't control that. So then I'm like on this waiting edge, of anticipation of what's going to happen. If I could manage it myself, I'm almost better, even if it's harder. So I don't know if you guys are that way or not. but-
Everything in life that you do have control of is great, right? And even sometimes your own struggles, that's the only thing in your way of something you can control. But it's dangerous to be too broken up about the things that are just out of your hands. If they're out of your hands, they're out of your hands. And getting into that cycle of if I could only control it, well, you can't. And that's where I've been at my darkest, is stuff where I was like, if I could only do this or if I could only do that, things would be different. But you just can't. And it can get you into a dark place, and it's sad, but I think accepting it actually helps you be able to get through things.
Now, but more than the topics we're talking about right now, we're going a little in depth of the tragedies that hit us. What we're looking for on this topic is the move forward. How did you make that change? We know the tragedies are hard, but what prompted you to say, hey, this time it's going to work. This time it's going to be different. Yes, I'm strong enough to handle this. Yes, I can do this. Nikki, we didn't really get to you on that right now. So, Nikki, as far as your change, what was it, your biggest one, and how'd you feel when you started to move forward and ahead again?
It's hard to pick just one because there's been so many significant changes that have happened in my life. If I had to really narrow it down, I think I would narrow it down to the change of just the responsibility of motherhood. But it's been like I always say I've evolved over the years of growth, even in being a parent. And part of all the changes that I've been through You know, again, I used to adapt in a very destructive way. I was like Lenny and like Brandon was saying, I, I would go into that kind of stinking thinking mode where I would be try to defeat myself. And I came to a place finally where I just literally said to myself, like, enough is enough. Regardless of what crap is thrown in my direction, now I have children that need me to be stronger than I could ever imagine myself being. And like when we to kind of hit on last week's topic, or I mean Sunday's topic of TV shows, that's where one of my TV shows of childhood, and I don't even think I mentioned it, but Wonder Woman, she taught me that women are strong. We're strong people, okay? And
Well, that's because Wonder Woman was strong as fuck.
Literally.
But I find it too like it's a mental game, really, as far as strength, because we can be our own worst defeater on whether we're going to accomplish a setback, or if we're just going to kind of sit in the corner, or if we're just going to push forward. And I've pushed forward so many damn times that it's just, I'm in this mode where quitting is not an option. It will never be an option for me. And that strength my children see. It's made them stronger.
What you did is the one thing that everybody has had to do or has to do that they can't figure out, and that is you take control. When you get in those situations, you feel like the world's grabbed a hold of you and you can't escape. But the thing is, there's only one person in your life till the day you die. There's only one person you have to live with till the day you die from the time you're born, and that's you. When you learn that you actually are in control of everything around you, you can pull yourself out. But the hardest thing is often to see something like that. Becky, you look like you want to say something about that.
I just want to say that it doesn't matter what you're doing, you are capable of anything. And it doesn't matter what you think of yourself or even what others think of you. It's who you are. Because some people are out there and they're doing all the right things. They are being amazing people and they're beautiful people. And they are doing things that hurt themselves because they don't think they're good enough.
What you said is true, and the worst thing about that is when they're hurting themselves and they're doing that, they're still in control, and they don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
They are the ones causing that issue, and it's so hard to pull yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
To realize, because when you look back, when you're done with those situations, you look back and you go, I was so stupid. What was I thinking? And you're absolutely right. I was so stupid.
But how often do you look back?
Well, if all goes right. I do think so. I think you got to look back a lot, because that's the learning factor of it. A lot of times you look, I don't want to go down this road again. I don't want to do this again.
Well, it's like just to even go farther back, if for all of our regular viewers, I forget exactly even which episode this was on, but Keith mentioned when you would go on a vacation and everything went as planned, and you kind of talk about it maybe for a week after and then it's over. But the one where all these changes happened, those, and you talk about that forever. Those changes are those opportunities to be like, at the time they could be really hard, they could be really unexpected and amazing, but when you look back, those are the ones that you remember, and those are the ones that actually help change and evolve you as a human.
Exactly.
True.
All right, I'm going to shift the topic a little bit, because we started actually on a rather dark note. But all life changes are not dark. There's been some positive things that have happened to you that have altered your life. Like I said, having kids, marriage, careers, jobs, moving into your own apartment for the first time, moving your girlfriend in, stuff like that. So, Lenny, what would be, throughout all your life, what was the positive change that made you say, my life is going forward in the right direction?
Okay, so I talked a little bit about my sister and her car accident. Okay, well, my sister taught me how to ride horses, and I don't know if you know this, but my job is I'm a show jumping horse trainer, and I ride and I judge and I teach, and I've been all over the world with that. Well, she taught me how to do that, and that was never my intention to be my job ever. But I just got so good at the riding that as a kid, people would ask me to ride their horses. Then all of a sudden, people are paying me to ride their horses. I wanted to be a lawyer, and all of a sudden, I'm making more money than I could do being a lawyer by sitting on the back of a horse, and it became my job. Well, that whole her situation that was so tragic turned into my magical life, which is I've been able to do my hobby and my love for 20 some years, and then I had two autistic children, and then my life changed a little bit again, but not in a bad way, in a different way. I think it was just God's way of saying, okay, we've given her too much fun. Let's just pull the reins and change her life just a little bit.
It would be
You
really.
can handle it.
Yeah.
You can.
And he gave me two very interesting people in my life that I have learned so much about. Now I still do my horse world, but now I'm just judging so that I can stay home and focus on their lives, which is again very interesting. It can be tragic at times and hard at times, but I'm telling you, those times teach me how to be just better. Better
people
for
talk.
other people.
People talk, and a lot of people who are religion, we don't really talk about religion here, but they'll say God doesn't give you more than you can handle. But the truth about that is, really, life doesn't give you more than you can handle.
Right.
Because if it did, you wouldn't have
Be
life.
here. Right.
Like, that is part of it. So you can get through it. But it's amazing. You look back now, Lenny, you're the horse trainer. You do these shows. You travel all around doing them. And prior to the event of you just going on horseback the first time, this was never a direction your life would have been. Your life would be completely different if not for the tragedy sometimes you come through or the positive aspects that come through. When I started, everybody knows me. I'm a DJ. I'm a karaoke. I hate my fucking voice. I think
love
it's
it.
awful. I've heard that 100 times, but I do not like it at all. So I never thought in a million years that I would be in front of people, singing, entertaining, anything like that. I wanted to own a restaurant or I wanted to be a teacher. Those were my big things. I'm fat, restaurant. And I loved music, so I wanted to teach it. Oh, fat people in restaurants are... If a fat person serves you food, that's some good-ass food. I'm just telling you. They do not mess around, okay?
After you said it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Raul was always better at that.
Yeah, you get it, okay? And then literally it was a Thanksgiving, and my local bar around the corner, the host had to take it off. She goes, can I show you really quick how to do this? I'm not going to be here. I've got nobody to fill in. Would you mind? One night, one time, still hated my voice. I have got my own company. I'm running bars everywhere. I've been voted #1 in so many places.
You're the best ever.
Exactly. I am. I don't have an ego, but if I did, it would be incredible. So...
Warranted.
we're going to take, I'm going to get back to some positive changes with everybody else in just a second, but I'm going to bring somebody else in. We have a special guest with us tonight that's going to perform a song for us.
All
So
right.
would you please welcome Millie King. Millie, how you doing?
Millie.
Hi, Millie.
Good. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Millie.
Millie.
How
So,
you doing?
Good.
so Millie, we're happy to have you on here. We've not had you before, and I wanted to hear you for a while on this show. What song are you going to be performing for us?
It's The Story by Brandy Carlisle.
Oh, I love that. I
And
love that
that is
song.
a beautiful song. Was there any reason for the song? I mean,
Well-
it fits with the topic, kind of.
It fits the topic. Actually, Keith suggested it, but I agreed with it because I really
Well,
felt it
there
worked
was
with the
the
topic,
reason.
and I
That's
had
true,
some
but the
personal
reason.
connections with it.
That's
That
true,
was-
but the reason I was going there with the question was, Millie, you had already volunteered to do a song for us for the other show we were supposed to have, which
Yes.
was about disorders in the family. Since it got canceled, I was like, we can use it, we might push it to next week, and Millie was totally willing to just do another song for this show, and we're going to show her other song next week. This is a pre-recorded one because of capabilities some people don't have. So we're going to get right to that right now. This is going to be Millie King with Brandy Carlisle, The Story. Hello, ESV. This one's for you. All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am.
But these stories don't mean anything when you got no one to tell them to. It's true. I was made for you.
I climbed across the mountain tops, swam all across the ocean blue. I crossed all the lines and I broke all the rules. But baby, I broke them all for you.
Oh, because even when I was broke, you made me feel like a million bucks. You do. I was made for you. You see the smile that's on my mouth. It's hiding the words that don't come out.
And all of my friends who think that I'm blessed, they don't know my head is a mess.
No, they don't know who I really am, and they don't know what I've been through like you do. And I was made for you.
And all of these lines across my face, they tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am.
Oh, but these stories don't mean anything. You got no one to tell them to. It's true
That I was made for you.
Oh, yeah,
well,
it's true that I was made for you.
Thank you, Millie.
Thanks, Keith.
That was Millie King. That was beautiful.
Good job.
You're on my shit list, Brandon.
I'm sorry.
I can see
Why
you.
is that?
I was
Why?
so in until I did. With Keith.
Until the
What was that,
sparkles
Brandon?
came in behind
Yeah, oh,
them.
dude, yeah, no, that was amazing.
So, Millie, that
Okay.
was an absolutely
The vocals.
beautiful. Oh,
Wait.
hold on. I'm sorry. Lenny's not done.
Yes,
Let's wait for
that
Lenny.
was great. Time out. Yes, got away from me. Okay, so you guys, vocals were amazing, but see the My Little Pony sparkles and rainbows behind.
We did that.
I just wanted to watch you two.
We did that for you, Lenny, because everything we learned with Wizard of Oz and Disney, everything's
I
better with
know.
sparkles.
Okay. Okay.
I have to,
That was
Yeah,
great.
Becky.
It was
I
great.
have to say, Millie. So I am a hard metal rocker chick, all the way.
Becky, we're
But-
hanging out later.
But seriously, but your vocals the range that you had and the passion, I could see it in your eyes that you had
It's beautiful.
with that song. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bravo. Bravo.
I think for me,
Thank you.
if I can relate to a song, it really makes it easier to do that.
Yeah. When you feel the song, you're definitely going to sing it better.
Yeah.
You've got an absolutely amazing voice.
Yeah, that
She
was
does.
wonderful.
Yeah.
How long have you been singing?
Well, actually, really only 5 years because I sang in high school, but didn't sing for 20 years because I thought I couldn't sing.
Oh, you
Yeah.
hid your
I
talent.
feel you. I feel you 100%.
Oh my
Yeah.
Really?
So 5 years ago, I started singing. Someone convinced me to go do karaoke after trivia.
And did you do it? Did you start with
Yeah,
Keith?
and I did it, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And then I joined a women's chorus, and I learned how to sing better in that. And
Well, you're
So-
amazing.
Awesome.
So,
It
Millie, you pretty much just described a very positive life change for you that has 100% changed your life.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
you've been stuck at home for a while because, like a lot of us have, and
Right.
you've turned to music, haven't you?
Yeah,
She's
I'm
got
really
so many
thankful.
recordings. I want to,
Very
of course,
thankful
thank.
that I have it.
I want to thank Smule out there. Smule is the app used to record that. It lets people record duets together without actually being in the room. They're fantastic with that, and you've got like 1,400 recordings up there.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to hear her, go over and check it out. She is absolutely amazing.
So how
Any
do we
other?
get that, Keith? How do we find her recordings?
You can go to the Smule website. It's SMULE, smule.com, and you can find her by her username. And if she's okay with it, we'll post it in the chat.
I'm
for
okay with
everybody.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we'll post it.
Millie,
Thank
do you
you.
play any instruments or anything like that?
I don't play instruments. I can read music. I'm not the best sight reader. I'm slow at it. But I can read it, and I could enough to play my notes like on a piano when I'm trying to learn music to sing. But I can't
Thank
like play anything.
Thank you very much, Gabe.
How do I?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was wonderful. Thank you for singing.
That really was.
Yeah.
Thank
that
you,
was
Millie.
nice.
So you're a very
I,
strong person. I've appreciated what you've done. Is there anything you want to add to the show? You think is there any experiences you want to share that have impacted you? You really did with the music one.
A lot. A lot. One of the things I really, why I agreed with Keith that it would be a great song for me personally, I have a lot of personal connections with it. You know, I think we do all have these stories, different things that have impacted us, good and bad, and that's kind of made us who we are. And, you know, there's a lot of the lines in that song, even though I know it's a little negative, but there was the one line that says, you know, my friends think I'm blessed, but my life's a mess. I went through that. I went through a period of my life like that, and it was, everything went to crap. My job, my marriage at the time, everything went to crap. And now it's totally different, but I'm doing pretty good, I think, overall, and way better than I was then.
The song itself is
a
amazing.
wonderful husband now. I've found things I'm passionate about, you know. So
Well, when we were talking,
better.
yes, Lenny.
Well, I can't think of the movie that song is from, but it was a movie that the guy came from war and he had a picture that he found. Oh gosh, he had a picture that he had found, and he went and found the girl.
Is it that
When he
Nick-
I think I know what you're
when he
talking
got
about.
home.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of the name of the movie. So, but I thought maybe
I
I
know
that's-
don't remember
it's
it
from.
either, but I know what you're talking about.
You
It was,
know,
Powerpuff Girls 7. That was
no. Seven's the one that had 1,000 Years by Christina Perry, wasn't it? Something like that.
Oh yeah, Mojo Jojo
Can't
sang it. It
remember.
was great.
Or 1,000. I don't even remember anymore. I've seen so many. There's so many Powerpuff Girls, and I can't stop watching them. They're amazing.
They're incredible.
You know, we were talking, Millie, because we were changing the song, and we were going to use your other song, which we're not going to announce right now, but we're going to show that next week instead. And we were trying to figure out a song, and it just popped in because we have a friend named Kelsey that sings that song, and she is phenomenal. I said, you know what? What about the story? And Millie and I both think we suck at everything we do when it comes to singing. We're very critical. We just hate everything we do. It was off.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't do that part. I'm like, well, let me see if I can do a part of it too. And we're both just going, that is a great song for the topic and what we've been through, because it's true. You know, it does tell the story. So I'm so glad to have you here, Millie. Thank you very much for doing such a wonderful job. on that song.
Thank you.
And we will see
Glad
you
to be
again
here.
next week. I know you won't be able to actually be on the panel next week. You have a prior engagement. But we will definitely do that song because it was beautiful, and I still got that ready to go as well, okay?
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Millie.
Thank you.
Look at Becky up.
That was
raising
wonderful.
With the
I'm
stood up
so
phone.
happy.
That was
Okay.
I know, it cheers you up, doesn't it?
It does, honestly. And it shouldn't because it's a depressing song. But
No,
it
it's
just,
not.
It's
just
not.
brings up memories, and it just it makes you think, and it was so beautifully done. I'm sorry. It was awesome.
But what it says, it brings up memories, but what it says is I am who I am because of everything I've been through. You're
Yes.
where you're at and where you're happy now because of the shitstorm you had to travel through to get there.
Right.
And it's a beautiful song because it's exactly what this is about. It's about your life changes having a positive effect on your life. Nikki,
Keith.
you're so firm.
I love you, Nikki.
Oh, you're going to be on my list next. I love a forceful woman. Nikki, what is your positive impact?
So, you guys might think I'm crazy, but
We already do.
So while many people will think this was a very negative experience in my life, I take everything as a lesson. And when my family this last year went through the experience of homelessness, and I've never really gotten so deep into it. Keith and I have talked privately, but never on this show. I mean, when I say homeless, like, we were living in a campground, you guys. Last summer, my family and I lived from campground to campground just because my husband was the breadwinner of our family. He got hurt really bad. He fell from the top of a 20-foot ladder. He shattered, bones I didn't realize you could even break. He was a hot mess. And, it took us into this spiral of living in a campground. Okay. While at the time it seemed so insane and like we were never going to pull through, I take it as the best experience in my life because it made me learn to appreciate this magical life we now
We're getting
live.
feedback, I think, from you. Or no, I think it's somebody else. We're good. Go ahead.
But it helped me to appreciate this life that we now live. The struggles, I don't really look at them as struggles, honestly. And I'm not saying that just to say it. Like,
There's struggles at the time.
Sure, yeah, and they've got,
Yeah.
And there's definitely been places where I was like, holy shit, am I even, like, can we get out of this? Is this something that we can pull through? Obviously, every time we do. And it's actually, you said something earlier that reminded me of what I say to my children. Because as teenagers, some things that may be minute as we know as adults that teenagers go through, breakups of girlfriends, what have you. One thing I always say to my sons is you guys will realize when you're older that these few weeks or few days of struggle was such a minute, amount of time in this broad life that we live.
Yeah.
So just embrace it for what it is. Again, lesson.
You learn, you move on. That's what you do.
Yeah,
it's all about
exactly.
lessons. And lessons don't stop when you're done being a kid. Lessons are going to keep going on all your life. You're going to learn a lesson on your deathbed probably before you go, which,
Exactly.
Can
it could be
I
anything.
ask a question though?
Yeah, Lenny.
What was your favorite campground?
What's it called?
I'm totally serious.
She has one.
No, totally. We loved Brighton. Brighton Campground is top notch. They have rustic camping, which we loved when we were being not even necessarily trying to save money, but obviously our method was to save money. But
Right.
we loved the rustic camping. You didn't have a shower, but you had access to a shower. You had an outhouse, but I mean, whatever. Isn't that truly camping?
It is.
We have the funniest stories of being taunted by raccoons in this, you.
That's the joy of camping. It's all the nature shit and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Right?
And
We had
Becky,
the best time.
Becky, that's exactly it. Mine's Pioneer Park in Muskegon. I absolutely love that place right off Lake Michigan. Becky, before I actually ask you a question on that, I love where you're keeping your wine glass, because every time you reach for it, it's like 3D. You're like coming out and coming back with wine. It's so cool.
Sorry, I looked at something in that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I got your positive, Becky, which was definitely your marriage, but it's also the negative as well, because you went through such a rough start. Is there anything you think that happened unexpected that was a positive turning point, even from being a kid?
So, and this could be construed both ways, but
Most can.
You know, my Brendan, my little one, he just turned 12, but he's my little one. My oldest is 24. So Brendan is autistic.
Everybody get your mask. She's coughing.
No,
Okay.
Okay, you okay? I'm sorry, it's
Get
my
your
smoke,
wine.
isn't it?
Yes, it's your
It's my smoke.
Figure it out, Keith.
Exactly.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Somebody
Becky?
do a virtual Heimlich.
Becky?
We're going. We'll get back to you. Becky, we need you to swallow carefully.
No, don't go yet.
See, that is dedication. When you just take your wine and you breathe it in, that is dedication.
That's how you hit all those
Tears in her
aromas.
eyes.
That's how you really get the flavor. You can't tell if it's dark and oaky if you don't inhale it.
I hate pokey.
So Brendan,
Apparently, she does too.
so Brendan was difficult.
How old is Brendan now? Is Brendan the autistic one?
Yes, he is 12.
Okay. Okay.
And he was born 12 years ago, obviously. But,
He was born 13 years ago, but he's 12.
right.
Legally.
But
I know her family. They skip a year every 10 years.
right.
Stupid leap year
That's why
birthdays.
I'm like 102.
You look good, girl.
Right.
Okay, so
For the breathing.
Brendan is your autistic son, and he's 12.
Yes. But I
Okay.
think that him being born, I went through some really horrible, rough times. However,
Mhm.
he has changed me and made me a different person. He has made me more compassionate, more patient, more loving than I ever thought I could be. Like, today I am a different person, and
Yeah.
I would have to say that that's better than what the bitch I was before.
Well, we like the bitch too. I seen it come out, but it's like a level
Well-
6, 7.
That's a level 6, 7. I'm at like a 4 now. So.
But you know, out of tragedy often does come a better life, or out of a very hard thing to deal with comes a better life. Brandon, I don't know how much you've really dealt with that tragic repeatedly to get out there, but what is a positive thing that you've done that you said, my life is going the direction I want it to go?
Yeah, just to touch back on what Nikki said, all the best fighters in the world say either you win or you learn. So it is all about just taking either, if things are going great, you go, okay, I'm doing everything right, and enjoy it. And if things are going sideways, you're like, this is going to make me a better person later. It's rough right now, but yeah, I guess, you know, through the tragic times, I feel like it molded me into a more, I don't know, open to change and open to perspective person. But like the good times were just like, there was a point where I was just like, I'm not gonna find anybody that can handle me, or any like real relationship, just because I had been through so much and tried so hard to make the relationship work, just because I'm a kid of divorce. Like, my family tree was a forest because of all the divorces, so it was just like, it's not going to work, is it? And then just like that, I just tried to be a better person single, and I ran into this person that just like completely floored me. It was like knock off my feet kind of thing, and I was like, I don't think I would have even recognized what I was looking for in a partner had I not gone through that like, okay, I got over that hump of I'm never going to get what I think I want, and got to the place where I realized what I was looking for and what would work, and then things just start falling
That is
in
the
line
learning
for you.
process too. That's exactly what it is, and you don't even realize how educated you're getting during
Right.
those moments. But when you look back on it, you're like, I'm not going to do that again. You were talking just like Becky was talking with tragedy, and it makes you realize who you are. My situation would be with my fiance. When I was 19, she was killed by a drunk driver. Oddly enough, I went to the bar business. I don't know how that happened. But she was hit by a drunk driver on Halloween. And it's multiple things. It's going to get grim for a second, but I'm going to explain why it is. I mean, because she was knocked into a Halloween display. It was actually a couple days, October 23rd. And nobody knew she was there. They thought she was part of the display. If they would have found her, she would have made it. If they didn't, and they didn't find her in time, so it was too late. The owner of the house found her. Now, it's tragic. I mean, I heard the news. I hung up the phone. I went into my bedroom for a couple days. Period. I was done. I didn't understand. I didn't want to deal with it, and I was in a dark place. But it changed my life in a positive way so much. It made me realize that you don't know when things are going to change. You don't know when you're going to lose somebody in your life, or you're going to have a big impact that's going to send your life in another direction. You live for each day. You live for each moment. And it also made me realize that there's always going to be another scenario that something may not have worked that way or may not have happened. But you're not given that scenario. That's a look-back scenario. Even me hearing the story that if somebody would have been there, she would be okay. That's a look-back scenario. Somebody could have been there and they had been totally wrong. You have to understand that your life and what you choose and which path you go, that's done. Who was that? That was a reflection.
Yeah.
And you're going to be stronger for it. I became the most outgoing person in school. I was really weird in school. I was that weird fucking kid. I was friends with everybody, but I was a weird fucking kid. Like, I would hurt myself for amusement. And I like to do it because it made people laugh. I've always liked to make people laugh. But it was more, I think, attention grabbing in school. More than anything. Even though I had friends, that was the attention grabber. And suddenly it wasn't an attention grabber. It's suddenly, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be happy. And that spilled into every aspect of my life. It became karaoke. I'm open about anything. I mean, that's partly why we do the show, because I'm completely open about anything. I suddenly don't really care what people say or what people think, because you know what? They don't fucking live with me. They're not in me. They don't know what I'm thinking. They don't know what I'm feeling. When you get that power that everything around you does not control you, then every situation, good or bad, that you find is going to let you move forward. I lost, the hardest one I ever had was my mom right before Thanksgiving. We were talking the day before about what we were going to do, and the next day, I got a phone call. Come to the hospital. It was already too late at that point. And you know what the biggest thing that hit me about that was whether or not I said, I love you, to her on the phone, which I say all the time. That was the biggest thing that hit me. I still can't get over that thought. But instead of mourning and saying my life had to end, she lives through me now.
Yes.
Everything she taught me, everything she showed me, everything she was is what everybody sees every day.
Yes.
Anybody says you're great, I love what you do, a lot of times the answer is thank my mom. You know, and that's truly the answer to that one. Linny, do you have any closing thoughts for this right now? Just curious, because we've only got about 5-10 minutes left.
Well, all I can say is you just have to take every experience that you've had that is life-changing for you and learn from it and grow from it, and like Brandon said, move forward. You know, there's really, it's only going to make your life better, and at some point down the road, you're going to be able to tell your story to someone else, and it's going to make their life easier.
Yes, absolutely.
That's pretty much it.
before you continue, Alyssa, I'm going to ask about this to them right now because I've heard this before, but chiropractics and chiropractors get a really bad name. Uh, it's hard for people to believe that they're any help because you hear one thing and they're just in it for the money. It's causing more damage, blah blah blah. But it's a really good point for Becky and Linny. Have you ever sought something like that?
Yeah, I actually have a chiropractor that I have gone to, and my kids went when they were smaller. But I have I have two autistic boys. One's high functioning and one is lower functioning. And the lower functioning one, he's not going to get on the table. I can't get him to wear a hat and gloves in the wintertime, so there's just not any way of getting him on that table. The older one, I have had him do it as well, and I have done it as well. So I'm not against it by any means. Believe me, early on, this will be another show about autism at some point. And I tried everything. I'm a very proactive person in research,
That's actually going to be the topic next Wednesday. The disorders in the family is going to cover the autism, bipolar, etc. What about you, Becky? Has that ever been anything that you've looked into? I'm just curious.
So, I had the same problem that Lynn had. There was no way that Brennan was going to go on a table. I can't get him to go to the doctor. When I do, it's a nightmare. So, I've never given much thought, and maybe I have that, but no.
Well, I will say, Alyssa, I've met Alyssa before many times. She's one of the most wonderful people I've met in my life. And if you guys ever want any more information, she would be glad to talk. And she doesn't push anything.
Yeah.
So if you were curious, because she's in the school right now, I'm sure she could help you a lot. She's in Georgia, I believe, actually. So if you ever want to hit her up, she would probably be really somebody to talk to. And it does not work for everybody. I get that. So, and I know she does too.
I can't even say that it wouldn't have worked for Lucas, my younger one. I shouldn't have said his name, but I did. But the thing is that the fight that I would have to try to get him to do it would be more, to me, I'd want to steer away from that than the help that it may help. I just couldn't go there.
Well, there's always the fear. So. Is there a fear in anything like that making it worse? I want to get back on topic in a second, but there is a fear of making it worse with that?
Well,
I don't know as much about that.
You're creating an escalation in their brain that might just turn them into something you don't want to kind of open up. That can of worms. Yes, exactly. So Becky, at some point, maybe after the show is done, you and I need to talk because my kids are a little bit older than yours. So I have a little heads up on a few things for you with hormones.
And you've got every edge of the spectrum there.
Yeah.
Nikki, any last words?
You're gonna kill her?
Yes. I have that power.
I think the last thing I want to leave people with is to just say this. Change is inevitable in life. It's ever changing, ever evolving, ever, changing. Don't be afraid. Move with it, embrace it, accept it for what it is, and know that nothing is permanent. No situation that you exist in is permanent. You have control over changing something that you may not like.
Life is a movie in a sense. We've all seen a lot of movies or TV shows, and they get off to a very slow start, and you're like, this is boring. It's not good. I want to turn it off. But something stops you from turning that movie off, and by the time you're done, it's one of your favorite movies. Mm-hmm. Because you don't see what's coming in the end. And the next time, you're willing to watch that beginning part over and over because you know that there's better things ahead. Mm-hmm. So when you take certain tragedies like that, you learn that there's better things ahead. Like I said, with my grandmother passing away, first of all, to me, it was the natural order. It was the unnatural order that made me not like it. I actually resented her for a period deep down, and I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it. But my dad before that and several other people, it made me almost accustomed to know I'm going to get through, and everybody in your life wants you to get through. My tragedies are a little deeper. They are mostly to do with death of people. There's a few others, but
Uh-oh.
Whose house is that coming
No.
I told you I was going to kill her.
mine.
I was like, I don't even know who that was.
This is not a drill.
No, it's not.
They're right outside my house.
Bad boys.
Everything but the positive things too. And remember, it's somebody had said to me when I was talking to him that
What's
it can
that?
take 10. It takes one positive to outweigh 10 negatives.
Yes, I
Right.
love that.
When
And-
you're looking at the movies like you were talking about, who's your favorite character? Right, that one.
Matter of fact, I think that was Millie who said that to
That's
me.
your favorite character? Oh no. But no.
Oh, Millie is my favorite character too.
So your favorite character in those movies is that person who things can get totally crazy and they just stay composed, right?
Yeah.
What's the thing that we are drawn to by that? It's the fact that things can change so dramatically and they're able to just realize that there's nothing they can do about it but move forward and try and adjust and make the changes they need to deal with everything happening around them.
And sometimes what's really good to get you over these humps is to look back and pick out the positive things you have going for you. And it may sound stupid, write them down. Write down the
Right,
negative,
no,
write down the
you're right.
positive. And here's the other step. Even if you don't, have a friend write them down. Get in touch with a friend and say, write down 10 good things about me. It may seem weird and ridiculous, but a friend's going to do that for you. When you look at that and you compare it, you're going to see where your strength is, where it lies, and where you're going to pull forward from. Becky, any last words? I'm going to kill you too, apparently, just like Nikki.
Well, I just got to say that this has been very awesome. My first time joining, but it has been awesome. It has made me realize that, you know what, some of the things that I considered horrible in my life actually made me stronger. And maybe we should not think of them at the time. And it's hard. It's so hard to not think of something awful going on as awful, but think of it as a stepping stone to becoming a better person.
And you said, or one of you had said, it's not good to look back on it initially. You don't look back. But looking back can make you realize you've gotten through hard stuff before.
Right.
It can be extremely good to look back and say, I got through this, and what I'm dealing with right now really doesn't compare to that.
Right.
I am tempered in fucking steel. I know what I can do.
Right.
And that
we all
will push
are.
you forward. And we are. I'm going to bring back our musical lovely singer here. Millie, how you doing again? I'm glad you were
good.
here. So,
Hi,
Millie,
Millie.
do you have any last things you want to say to everybody for this show?
You did better.
Gosh, a
murder.
lot of you already said a lot of what I was thinking. Like with what Becky said, a lot of things that you go through, they make you who you are. Because all those things, like I talked about when I was referring back to the song that I went through that were crap, but if they didn't happen, the good things that happened later wouldn't have happened. I've had so many positive things now. So I kind of look at it that way too. I wouldn't be where I'm at with the things that are positive in my life.
And that's
if, I didn't go
absolutely...
through those things before.
Yeah, you can't... How can you even know what good and positive is if you don't suffer through some negative?
Right.
And
The things that hit you like a brick hurt because they're a brick, but you could take that brick and build something. Look at that metaphor.
Yes.
Look at that.
That was just
It
beautiful.
might be the art.
Nikki's going to have ESV shirts printed up about all the things we say on here.
Oh, that's a good idea. Merch. We gotta have a merch tab in the YouTube channel.
What you said is really, really true, Brandon. Everything, if you don't look at the negatives and the positives together, you'll never see that you can advance further in your life. I mean, that's just flat out true. There's nothing you can do to change that. And I'm going to tell you right now, a life where nothing goes wrong is boring as fuck.
You ever see The Croods?
No.
Yes.
Everyone that
Oh, wait.
did gets it.
I didn't. I didn't. I don't. But it's true. If everything goes perfect, there's nothing to separate anything. You're not going to feel high or low because you have nothing to compare it to. So when you go through tragedy, just understand that that stuff is there to make you stronger. We didn't even hit some of the topics about career changes sometimes that people go through. Lenny, you did briefly. I did briefly with karaoke, but not a lot of heavy ones. And those are big steps too. Those are positive impacts. But you're going to hit ones with family. You're going to lose family. You're going to gain family. You're going to lose friends and gain friends. You're going to lose your home and you're going to move somewhere else. Nikki's been through that as well. Becky's struggled in the marriage. Millie is just a ray of sunshine. I love her. And Lenny,
Thanks, I've had a lot.
you've definitely dealt with the family and the career changes. And Brandon, you're moving into it. You're starting pretty much on your own too. You're getting everything together. You've got your apartment. You've got your girl that you thought you'd never get. Every one of us thought it was the end of our world at that time. But guess what? It's not. And we're still here, and we're always going to be here. So I wanna say thank you very much for being on here, Becky. You were fantastic. We look forward to seeing you again. You were just really, really nice. You gave us some entertainment too. You were like wrestling and spilling and mixing. It was
I know.
awesome.
I'm sorry. I got
And
a
that
lot going
cough
on
was
here.
great.
Yeah.
That cough was great. It was just, you entertain us in every way. No, you were great. You brought some really good insight to this right now that a lot of people don't see. And the stuff you went through, and sometimes a happy marriage isn't a happy marriage, but it can be a happy marriage. And that's what a lot of people fail to look at. So thank you again, Becky. We will see you later. Whoops, I took Millie out. Millie. There we go, Millie. Again, very glad to have you here, too. You sang beautifully. I know you won't be here next week, but we're definitely going to play that song for you. So thank you for being here, Millie.
Thank you for having me.
And you definitely, I know you were like a little nervous, like you didn't always know what to say, and you said everything perfectly. I want to let you know.
Thanks.
So we will see you later, Millie. All right, and now it's just, I'm just going to put everybody up there. Look at us. Okay, there we are, because I can. Guys, this was fantastic. I had an absolute good time. This was darker. I want to let everybody know that today's topic was, of course, about an ever-changing life. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe on YouTube or Facebook. Just look up Ear, Shoulder, Voice. We're there. Get notified of every single show we do. Engage with live chat during the topic. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. You can be a guest on our panel if you want to be. Suggest topics on the Facebook page. We are listening, and we're going to get you there. Next week, however, or not next week. Next week, we're going to bring back the Disorders in the Family show. That'll be on Wednesday. However, our next show is Back in My Day. As you haven't noticed, Sundays are a little lighter in topics, and our Wednesdays are a little deeper topics. That's where we're going to hit more deep. And Sunday, we're going to try to lighten up a little bit. Back in My Day is just about everything growing up. Even you, Brandon. We'll go back 5 years. Everything growing up that just has changed. It's not there that you remember so fondly. And some things will go through things that have changed that actually better. You wish you had them growing up. And some things you really wish the people now had that you did. And we're going to all be grandpas for that show. I mean, don't dress like it, but we're going to all be grandpas. Back in my day, I don't think anybody here had to walk uphill both ways to school, so we should be good on that.
We're going to be grandpas or foghorn leghorn?
They're kind of the same. If you actually listen to them side by side,
you're right.
Yeah, they're really about the same. All right, thank you for joining us here at ESV. My name is Keith Litfin. I have had a marvelous time, and we will see you all again soon.
Thank you for being here, guys.
Yes!
I'm Lenny. They're like worried I'm not going to say goodbye. So goodbye. I love you. Mwah.
You took a minute. We weren't sure.
She just wants
Hi,
suspense.
guys. I'm Nikki. Right or left? Right or left?
No, you're fine, Nikki.
Good night, you guys.
Okay. And Brandon, you have a good one as well.
You all too. This was really fun. Thanks for doing it again.
Yeah, I love doing this, and I love that it constantly changes each time. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Brandon, that was a really interesting topic. That went actually deeper and darker than I thought it would.
Well, yeah, I mean, the change of the topic of the show wasn't as dark as in our lives, but you know, I think it worked pretty good.
Worked
Yeah,
good.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I learned so much. Millie, oh my God, Millie, you sounded so good. You sounded so good.
Yeah, you
Yes.
sounded amazing.
Yes.
That was wonderful.
And fuck you, Brandon. The minute I start singing, you're laughing over there. What the hell? I saw you. I saw you,
Well,
motherfucker.
I loved the singing.
Oh, he
It was
didn't
the
see me.
part where it was just the instrumental, and you were like,
And he was like this.
Oh, he was dancing.
Well, when you record
I
on
did like
Smule,
that
you
at
have
the
no
bottom.
idea what it's
And then-
going to show.
And then you had
Yeah.
the little rainbow My Pony thing going on in
Yeah.
the background.
I think Millie did that because I did it raw. I made sure there wasn't anything behind us. I think Millie added that.
I think I just forgot to take it off because it automatically comes on in the filter.
No, it was
Yeah.
So I have to
awesome.
turn it off.
I kind of
Sorry.
want to watch it again, but under the influence.
Oh, it'd be really trippy under the influence.
Look at all these stars.
Yeah.
Are they stars?
The filters automatically have it on, and I forgot to turn it off.
No, it was perfect.
So,
Oh
Mill,
my
where
God.
do you go to sing? Do you go to Kit Kat? Do you go to where do you go? when
Well, I
you
don't go
sing?
anywhere right now.
Right, where did you go?
But I
You can't hear her,
Jamboozies mainly.
Fix it.
What?
What are you doing over there, Keith?
Can you hear me now?
We can't hear her.
I
I
can.
hear her.
Uh-oh.
I hear.
I don't hear her. What'd she
Oh, I
say?
just heard me again. That's weird.
We don't see you. You don't hear us.
No, you texted me, Dick.
I did. Well, that's what I was doing.
All right, so no live texting.
Oh,
All right, now we know.
Well, I
I went
usually
to
can do it, but Becky doesn't rat me out.
Snitches
I've
get
been all over though. For karaoke, I went to a lot of places, but
Is
I mainly went to
it
Keith.
ESV.com?
Earshouldervoice.com is the website, but it's not fully up yet. I actually did get a website. I was working on it today.
Nice.
Okay,
Go to
Tom's
YouTube.
YouTube.
For you, go to YouTube
Tom's on YouTube.
and search Ear Shoulder Voice.
Ear, shoulder, voice. He typed in ESV.
You're going to get 1,000 results for ESV.
Yeah,
Like some
that's what he said.
Edward Smith von Hagen is going to tell you about life.
So,
Yeah.
so Millie,
Eels,
what's your
slurp,
favorite songs to sing? Like, what's your genre that you like to sing?
I sing a little of everything.
Deathcore.
But what's your
Except
favorite?
probably metal. I can't do metal.
Yeah.
I probably honestly just sing mainly popular music, pop music. Little Disney, a little bit of musical theater, a little bit of rock.
She likes Disney. See, guys, she likes Disney.
after show.
Oh, Lenny's got a new friend.
That was my thing last week.
I don't know. You
do
didn't
like
see the
the
last
Disney.
show. Lenny's favorite TV
Why?
show is Wizard of
What's
Oz.
Disney?
Oh.
Yeah, Lenny's
Well,
favorite
that
TV
was-
show is Wizard of Oz.
See, but the thing is that Disney was once a week. So, and the Wizard of Oz came on Disney once a year. They
It did.
didn't have. So
The
next
stories
week's
changed
thing-
as the broadcast progressed.
What did
Yeah,
you
but-
watch the rest of the year? Just Disney reruns?
For hand.
No, Gilligan.
For Wizard of Oz to
Seriously,
come back.
there was like it went Gilligan's Island, then it went. There was I Love Lucy was in there somewhere. There was Lost in Space, Danger, Danger, Will Robinson thingy, and
Yes.
that's all you had. That's what you had to watch.
I was going to say you
That's all
could
it
record it
was.
and watch it again, but you couldn't record it back in your day,
You
could you?
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, like I
You
said.
recorded up here. Think about
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
What's wrong with Lenny? She's zoned out watching Wizard of Oz in her head. So, Becky, how did
Exactly.
you like your first show?
It was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was
Yeah.
very good.
That was the
Yeah.
longest choke scene I've ever seen in my life.
I like kept thinking it was done, and I'm like, I was almost going to move her out for a minute to clear herself up, but I was like, this is kind of fun, and
See,
it's
but in
almost
like,
done.
in like 1 year from now, she'll be like, wow, I'm in a better place because I survived that choke. That's all
You know
about
what?
change and moving forward.
And it's so stupid. It's because I wasn't because I've been drinking wine and it gets like me a little thing in my throat. So
It was
if I
because
don't-
you snorted the wine.
So if I don't keep, I don't snort
Yeah.
anything. I shoot it. in the vein.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Damn, girl, that's hardcore.
I'm kidding.
I wouldn't do that with
Wine.
anything but a white wine.
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah.
White wine is safer for